everybody, welcome back to HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com and here on my YouTube channel. And in this video, we're going to continue on with our Softube Console 1 Mixing System series. For this week, or this time out, we're going to talk about the things after I've used this for a bit and after I've done a lot of the videos that you've already seen on the channel, which we'll talk about in a minute, the things that I like about this system and the things I want to highlight and point out to you as positives. And then I also want to talk to you about the things that I think can use some improvement from a design perspective and just from a usability perspective, because there are a few things that I think could probably be improved on. And I'm here to play both sides of the fence here. I'm here to give you an honest and fair assessment of this system. So that's what we're going to do today. Before we get started, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Also, make sure that you check the playlist link in the description box, which is going to bring you to all the videos that I've done for this mixing system by Softube. So you can see everything from the install process and how you set it up to all the features and functions in the walkthrough. We did a little bit of a mixing demonstration. We did an unboxing and we talked about the build quality, the fit and the finish. We talked about controlling universal audio plugins and how you swap out different plugins inside of the channel strip itself. And then I also did a couple of live streams where I've actually done some mixing where we mixed a full song. We're working towards mixing a full song, and I took some questions and answers from people on the live stream. And then we also did a video where you will see a second fader unit here. So we're not just dealing with 10 faders, we're dealing with 20. There'll be all kinds of videos in the playlist below. So if this is the first video that you're watching, on the Softube Console 1 mixing system, go check the playlist below. Also, if you're interested in purchasing one of these wonderful control surfaces, check the link in the description box because that's my Sweetwater affiliate link, and that will bring you out to Sweetwater where you can pick this up. They're the best in the business. And when you use that affiliate link, you're helping support what I do here, but you don't pay any more for the product, obviously. And then last but not least, before we get to the bullet points of likes and dislikes, full disclosure, again, I've reached out to Softube, asked them to send this to me so I can do these series of videos for you. They have not paid me for these videos. I don't get anything from this whatsoever, except whether you go ahead and purchase one from Sweetwater, I'll get a small commission. That's it. But they did send it to me for free. Now, why did I reach out to them to get the Softube Console 1 mixing system? Is because over the last several months, I've had a lot of my followers and subscribers ask me about control surfaces and what is the best control surface for the DAW? What gives them the most kind of feeling and kind of experience, or as close to as a real console that I have, a real SSL console that I mix on every single day. And people want to know, well, what's the equivalent in a DAW control surface? So if you've been watching me for any length of time, you'll know that I've taken a look at other companies' control surfaces too. You can check my videos in the archives for that. And Softube was one on the list that people asked me about. So that's why I reached out to them, and I have other ones coming too. So my mission is to test every control surface that's on the market currently to kind of see which one is the best one, which one is the most intuitive, which one has the most features and makes it feel more or as close to working on a real console as possible, and getting your hands off the mouse and keyboard and getting back to a more tactile feel experience. That's why I reached out to them. They were so gracious to send this to me, and I enjoyed working with them on this. So that's all the housekeeping stuff. So now let's talk about, now that I've done a bunch of videos and you've seen this thing in action, and again, if you haven't, make sure you click the playlist in the description box below. Let's talk about the things that I really like. Now, I will just say, overall, as of the recording of this video, as I'm sitting here today, again, I haven't tested every control surface on the market, but I've done all the main ones, the ones that you know of. Most of them. I've done 3 or 4 of them now. And there's others I got coming in. But I will tell you that so far, overall, this is the most fully featured. The Console 1 is the one so far that I that I actually almost never had to touch the mouse and keyboard while using this. And I feel like it's the closest thing, I dare say, a perfect control surface. I don't mean to use that, I don't want to use that word lightly, but it's the one that gets you closest to what I feel most control surfaces are missing. Okay? And let's talk about that. Let's go through the things that I like about it. Number one, what I really love about it is the build quality, the fit and finish is top notch. Okay, you can see it on the screen here. I know it might be a little out of focus, Go watch the unboxing video. Again, it's in the playlist below. Build quality, top notch. Everything is metal and plastic buttons and switches, but it's a heavy duty plastic. Everything feels nice and smooth. Really, really great. Also, the size of the unit. This is one of the things that makes this thing stand out above all of them. For the amount of control features that you get, a full channel strip with fader control, no other, and I mean no other, control surface on the market takes up this small of a footprint with all of these controls. They just don't. I've had them all on my desk. I can tell you that for a fact. The stand that it comes in by Pros Acoustic, that comes with this, and the way this sits in the bottom with the 45-degree angle on the top, ergonomically compact, it's great. I'll try to remember to throw up a little video of it sitting on my desk, but I did that in one of the other videos. So from a form factor, from a build quality, very well designed, very well put together, high quality piece of equipment. 5 stars there. Okay, that's number one. Number two, where this really stands out, and again, things I like about this thing that really stands out above the other ones that I've tried, the way it synchronizes with the DAW, I believe Softube got it right. And I've talked about this in some of the other videos. First and foremost, when you're moving faders on the screen, you can see the screen moving. There's no lag. Everything is really smooth. Everything responds really well. It works perfectly. Everything feels good. The way you select tracks on the screen, and here I'll just demonstrate this. I've demonstrated this in every other video, but this is a huge one for me. Most control surfaces, if you have a track selected, and if you go select another track on the control surface that is visibly off the screen on your DAW. So for example here, again, you may see all of it, but right now I see on the screen in front of me 17 tracks in my Studio One session. Some of them are behind my video, I realize. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can move that for you here. We'll do this on the fly, live TV. Let me move this up for you. Okay, there we go. Move my beautiful face out of the way. So there's 17 tracks that are visible. The last track that I can physically see on the screen is track 17. It's the purple track here, down here underneath my video. Okay, this session has 26 tracks in it, by the way. I'm on track 1, it's selected here, it's highlighted. If I come up to the console 1 and go to track 20, watch what happens to the mixer in Studio One. It automatically advances and it comes over to track 20, and you can see it here on the screen as I'm moving the fader up and down. Okay, so what does that mean? Say, geez, what does that mean, Dave? What that means is what you see on the screen mirrors or synchronizes what's physically in front of you on the hardware. That is big, especially when you're trying to move fast and you're mixing and you're trying to move quickly. One of the pain in the rear ends about most control surfaces is I can be on track 1, I hit track 20, and it may go highlight track 20, but I can't see track 20 on the screen. I have to come down here with my mouse and I have to scroll over. Okay? That happens. Some control surfaces, believe it or not, you have track 1 highlighted. If I hit track 20, it doesn't even go highlight track 20. It will physically move the 20th fader, but it's still highlighted on track 1. Okay, I'm not going to mention any names. I'm just telling you that's a fact. The way that it synchronizes with Studio One, and I would imagine with all of the other DAWs that it's compatible with as well. I know Cubase it does really well with, and go check the Softube website if you want to see all the DAW compatibility. I think they're compatible with all major DAWs. I'm almost certain of that. But go check, because I don't want to speak out of turn. And I will do some future videos where we hook this up to Cubase and Pro Tools and Logic, and we'll do all that. But for Studio One, it works really, really well. It synchronizes perfectly. That's huge, huge. I love that. Okay, so that's the second thing that I like about it. Things synchronized. What you see in front of you is what's happening on the screen. Let me move my beautiful mug back down to the bottom. The third thing that I love about this, and again, I'm going to just open up the plugin window. I know it's behind the console 1 here. I'll rearrange console 1 in a few seconds, but you can see the plugin window up here, right? I know it's behind there. I don't want to shrink it down too small, but let me just say this. This is the only plugin you need to open from the time that you start your mix till you end your mix if you're going to do everything inside of Console 1. This happens to be the SSL 4000E that comes with the Console 1 system, right? Right now we're on track 1. I've opened up the plugin. Just by clicking the button, it opens up on the screen. You can enlarge it. You can make it the whole size of the screen if you want. We've talked about that in other videos. We are on track 1. But look what happens when I go to track 2. The plugin GUI at the top, you can see the name. It's small, but it changes. Track 2, track 3, track 4. You can see the EQ curves are different. Track 5, back to track 1. What does that mean? That means that you don't have to close a plugin window, open a plugin window, close a plugin window, open a plugin window with your mouse every time you go from one track to the next. It stays on, you open it up once, and the tracks move along with it. That helps the workflow considerably from a speed point of view. It's fantastic, okay? That again is huge. That's a great design that I only need to open up this plugin window once. I use my track selects, I do all of my adjusting and all my processing. I never have to open it again. That is awesome. And when you also couple, which we'll talk about in a second, that when you couple the fact that you can also open up universal audio plugins and control them in this plugin GUI, that's fantastic. You don't even need to go to your browser and drag a universal audio plugin into your session. You can do it all right from this one plugin window if you're a universal audio user, okay? Which I am. Go watch the video where I show you how to do that. That's fantastic. It's fast. That's what's great about it, okay? The other thing that I really like about this system in general, and again, you can go watch the live stream videos I've done. You can watch the mixing demonstration video that I did. Once you get used to the layout, this is extremely fast. And why is it extremely fast? One reason and one reason only. Because you don't have to put your hands on the mouse and the keyboard. Hardly ever. Almost never. You saw me do that in the demonstrations. Every other control surface I used, yes, they have their pros and they do some of take the mouse off the hand and keyboard, but I would say most of them, best case, maybe 50% of the time, you still got to put your hand on the mouse and keyboard most of the time. To open and close windows, you can only do one thing at a time. You don't have to do this with this system. So, and when I did the mixing demonstration, I said in that video, at the time, as of all these videos, the entire series, I had only worked on this thing for about an hour or two prior to turning on the camera. And the reason why I do that, as I said in that video, is because I want you, the viewer, someone who's looking to maybe purchase this or someone who maybe just got this and is struggling a little bit, I want you to see what it's like when you first get this thing, how quick and easy, or not, in some other products, can you get up and running and get used to it. I don't want to work with the product for 3 or 4 months and then bring it to you when I'm an expert, because then it looks easier than it is when you're a beginner. There's many other YouTube channels that do that sort of thing, and that's valuable. It's fantastic. They get a real in-depth knowledge of the product and can maybe bring you some more deep dive features that maybe I can't because I don't spend enough time with these products, but I like to take the other approach. You want to get up and running quickly. You want to know whether it's worth your money. You want to know how much frustration am I going to have or not when I purchase a product like this, because I want to make music. I don't want to be a tech guy, right? I know you're all nodding your head. That's true. That's why I do it that way. And within an hour on camera, when I did the first live stream, and there'll be multiple ones, by the time you watch this, they're probably already in the playlist. Within an hour of me playing with this live on camera, I was whipping around this thing. Once you get through a half a dozen tracks and you realize where everything is laid out and you have the muscle memory, you're ready to go. So once you really get used to this thing, when companies claim it's faster to work with this than it is not to work with the Surface Control, in most cases up to this particular product, I'd say that's only about half true. With this product, it is fully true. It is. I can vouch for that. I would say this is the fastest way to mix on a control surface that I've had so far. Again, we'll be doing other products in the future. And if something comes up, this is now the benchmark. In my little test of all the ones that I've tested, this is the one to beat. Maybe there's something out there that'll beat it. I don't know. We're going to find out. Stay tuned to the channel. So once you get used to it, it is super, super fast. Okay? That's the next thing. Number 5, what else do I really like about it? Now, again, you can't see the plugin. So big. Let me go over here to the console one. Let me shrink this down. Live on camera. We'll blow it back up again. You've seen me walk through this already a bunch of times. So let me just show you. Let me bring the plugin down here a little bit. Okay. The other thing I really love about this system, and again, it kind of works hand in hand with the fact you only have to open up one plugin at a time, is that you have the ability to not only swap out the channel strips easily, just without clicking anything, all done right from the unit. 2 buttons and I can go and I don't even need to put my hand on the mouse. I can switch and I can change channel strips, change plugins very quickly, which is awesome. However, what else is really great about it? That inside of this, you can also, let's say the drive circuit, which the saturation and drive circuit, you can just change that. So in other words, we're looking at the API channel strip. We're using the gate, the EQ, the compressor, and the drive circuits from the API, the American class. But let's say I didn't want that. Let's say in the drive circuit, I wanted to use tape saturation. No problem. Hit one button on the unit. It brings up a list. I scroll down and these are all the plugins that have harmonic distortion and drive on my system that I can use. I pick one, let's say tape, I hit OK. And now you'll see over here where my mouse is, right next to my, can you see it here on the screen? Let me see if you can see it on the screen. You should be able to see it on the screen right here. Yes, you'll see that the drive circuit is now changed colors. I'm using a different drive circuit with this channel strip. So, and you could do the same thing with EQ. You could do the same thing with the compressor. You could do the same thing with the gate. And I demonstrated this in one of the other videos. So you can customize your own channel strip without having to touch the mouse and keyboard. And I'm going to say that 5,000 times because that is one of the biggest features of this thing. Okay, that's fantastic. I love that you can swap out different parts of the channel strip. And then last but not least, another big one, number 6, is that you can physically daisy chain more than one 10-bank fader unit with this system, which by the time you watch this video, my guess is there'll already be a video on that, because as I'm recording this video, there's a second one of these coming to me from Softube, so we can do 20 faders instead of 10. Why is that important? Well, it's always nice to have more faders, but one of the downsides, and we'll get to the things I think can be improved, or one of the things that I don't like about surface controls in general, is I don't like paging and banking, and we'll talk about that. Because Softube Console 1 has 20 buttons at the top unit here for track select, to me, it's more intuitive and it's easier to use when you're moving fast if you had 20 physical faders. Talk about that in a bit. So the ability to be able to put, and Softube says there's no limit to how many, but they've said they've seen users put as many as 3 and 4 of these together, 30, 40 faders. That you can have 40 faders or 30 faders. That's like a full console. My SSL only has 32 faders. So the fact that you could put 4 of these together and not have to worry about paging and banking so much is huge. Now, other surface controls claim, some of them claim you could do that as well. You can put extenders on and those types of things. So that's not unique, but that is something that's really cool, something that I find is nice. So most times when you see this product advertised, when you see this product sold, it's sold with one fader control and one console one, but just realize you can put more on there. So those are 6 things that I really like about this product. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to close the plugin. I want to move and open this thing back up again because I want to talk about some of the things, not that I dislike is probably a strong word. Let's just say improvements. Before we get into the list of things I wish that this did or wish that was better about this system physically on the hardware, you got to realize that manufacturers are also trying to hit a price point. They're trying to pack as many features that they can pack into these products at a certain price, right? The things that I'm going to mention would absolutely, if I was talking to the company live and on camera here, would say, well, that's going to increase the cost of the product. And and there may not be a market for that. And I realize that. Let's put that aside for a second. And let's say throw cost to the winds. If it didn't matter what it costs, what things about this would I improve on to make it an even better product than it already is? The first thing, and the thing that drives me crazy the most, and it's probably just me, if you're a surface control user, this is not probably a big deal for you. And again, because I've only used this for a limited amount of time, as I said earlier, as you get used to this product, this may not become an issue. But for me, one of the reasons that I hate surface controls, I don't like the fact that you have paging and banking. In other words, we have 20 tracks here on the top, and then we have a page button. So once I go to track 21, then you're on page 2, track 1, right? If you had 20 physical faders in front of you, it wouldn't be fader number 21, it would be bank 2, fader number 1. And again, that's not a big deal. I just verbalize that and you go, yeah, so what, Dave? What are you, an idiot? Right? It's easy math. But when you're working quickly and you're listening and you're not looking at the screen and you're working and you're trying to mix, having to think about that, hitting a button and then kind of breaking your flow because you're not sure where you are, I hate that. One of the things about this that I don't like is that this page up here, you never know what page you're really on. There's a plus and a minus button, and I said this in one of the earlier videos. If you have to live with banking, okay, a bank or paging, because you're limited, then there should be an LCD screen that tells me what page I'm on. It doesn't do that here. So once I go to track 21, I got to hit the plus button. Okay, now I hit the plus button, it should say page 2, right? Page 1, this is track 1, fader 1. Page 2, this should say page 2, or have a numeral 2, not just a light, because you lose track of where you are. If you had a 50 or 60 or 75 track session, that becomes even more of a problem. Am I on page 3? Am I on page 4? Where am I? The faders don't line up. You break the flow. So if it was me, I'd have a little LCD screen up here that told me what page I was on, at the very least. Okay, that's what I would like to see. Again, it's going to increase the cost and it's going to cost more to do that, and I get all of that, but that's what I would like. That's the first thing. The second thing I wish was better about this is on the actual fader unit. Again, you can, well, here's the faders. You can see my fingers here. You can't see the bottom metal part, but beneath the track select, there's some dead space in here. And it's great that when you hit the track select, it lights up and it moves in Studio One, and that's wonderful. But what it doesn't, and the colors of the LEDs represent the color coding that you have of the tracks in your DAW. So if I go to track 11, you'll see down here, track 11 is blue, right? Fader 1 down here. Oh, you may not see that on camera, but it's blue. The colors are there. What I would have loved to seen is underneath that, a little LCD scribble strip. I want to know track 1, I want it to say kick. Why? Because I don't want to have to look at the screen at all. One of the beautiful things about this system is you open up the plugin window like we talked about before, and everything is done with the plugin window. You don't need to open up a bunch of windows. You don't need to look at a bunch of screens. You don't even need to look at the plugin window because you have all the controls in front of you. But sometimes you lose track of where you are because there's no identifier under the fader of what track you're on. And there's room here. It looks like there's room. I would have scribble strips down here that just say, have the names that line up with what you have in the DAW. That would be an improvement that I would use. Other surface controls have that. I think that would be something that would improve this, make it a little bit more user-friendly. The other thing that I don't like about this at times, and even though the way it's angled is perfect, it's a great ergonomic thing, there's a lot of text on this unit, and it's hard to read all of it. It all should be illuminated, in my opinion. Just like when I turn a dial, the dial's illuminated, the little LED lights, you know where the dial is. I want to see all the text illuminated. It's tiny font, it's small. The font could even be bigger in most cases. In most cases, there is plenty of room around the text that's already here to almost make this 50% larger in font size. At the very least, I would do that. But it would be great if it would illuminate. backlit just a little bit, kind of like the dial. So when I'm looking at it, I can easily read what it is. It's difficult to read for me, and this is a pretty well lit area. I have 2 video lights. I have a light on my monitor shining down on it. I mean, you can see in the video how bright it is, and I can't see the light. I can't see most of the text, and I'm sitting 2 feet from it. Okay, so illumination of the text and bigger text font would be nice. The other thing that I think, again, could be improved, again, and this is a little one. Let me come over to this and let me shrink this down. This is more about the plugin GUI. Let me just shrink this down so when I open this, you can see this a little better. Channel strip's awesome. We just got through talking about that, right? The look of the channel strip, it can use an update. It looks like, I feel like I'm looking at 1990s plugins. It's well laid out, it's intuitive, it's easy to understand. I get it. Functionality wise, it's fine. It looks like it's 25 years old. Maybe it is, I don't know. But I think the overall look could be refreshed. It could look better. Again, the typing on the, even though, again, I'll show this. I know it'll be hard to see, but you can resize this. You can make it the size of the entire screen if you want to. And when I do that, the print is nice and big and I can see it well and everything. But even with that, the text is a little small. It could be bigger. It just needs a refresh. It looks antiquated to me. I know that's picky. I know that doesn't affect the functionality of the unit. But again, if I had anything I wanted, I would want to see, this is a channel strip. I want it to look like a channel strip plugin, if at all possible, right? That's what I would like to see. Where it represents what a real channel strip looks like a lot of other plugin manufacturers do. When you switch from one channel strip to the other, like we've done here before, I'll do this again here. If I go down to the, let's say to the Neve, right, the British, and hit OK, what does it do? It looks exactly the same. It just changes color slightly. It'll change here in a second. There it goes. So now we're on the British Class A and it's just got a grayish color, not a bluish color. I think that can use some work. It could be a little more pleasing on the eye, but it works. It's functional. It's laid out. Again, that's just being picky. Okay. Another thing I wish when we talk about the plugins, we did a video on how you can control universal audio plugins from this, which is wonderful. Again, I'll say it again here in case you're someone looking to purchase this and you're learning about this unit. The universal audio plugins do not come with this when you buy it. You have to already own them, okay? Just make sure we're clear about that. And if you do, like I do, we hold down our shift and we open up our, let's say our EQ. And now you'll see, again, all the EQs I have available to me from Universal Audio. Let's pick the Pultec, the EQ P1A, and you'll watch here when I hit OK in the EQ section how all the controls change. And now it has all the controls of the EQ P1A. Again, I don't know if this is possible by Softube, but throwing caution to the wind, what would I like to see on the screen? I'd like to see in that EQ section of that channel strip, I want to see a picture of the actual UA plugin, the Pultec. I don't like that it doesn't look like the Pultec. It doesn't look like the real thing. And I know some people are going to say that really doesn't matter. I know it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the sound of the functionality. But if I'm using a Pultec, I want to see a Pultec. And so I want to see a photo of it. And as I'm changing the controls, I want to see the knob stern. That's what I would like to see. Again, update, refresh. We're in 2022. Let's make it look a little nicer than this, if it was me. Again, that's just a wish thing on my wish. I wish it could do that. That would be it. So those are kind of the 5 things that, again, I wish can be improved. Overall, it is a fantastic piece of equipment. Overall, as I said earlier, and again, I guess you got to say legally, I have to say it's a sponsored video because they sent it to me for free. But I can't, this system will eventually be given away to somebody as in a contest. I don't make anything on this. I'm not keeping this. I'm going to give it to someone at one point in time. I didn't get paid for any of the videos, but they sent it to me. So one of you lucky viewers will eventually own it free of charge. I don't get anything out of coming on here and saying this other than I make content for this YouTube channel to be honest and unbiased and fair with all of my viewers. And when you guys ask me about surface controls, and many of you ask me about this specific one, I'm just here to be honest with you. Other than that, I get nothing out of this. All I can say to you, as out of all the ones that I've tried, this is the most intuitive. This is the fastest way to mix. Again, if you're talking about mixing, for recording and those kinds of things, not so much, because there's no real fully featured transport control. A lot of the recording type features that you may see on other surface controls you don't get here, but this is a mixing system. They call it the Softube Console 1 mixing system. So for mixing, and that's what I do mostly, mixing. And from someone who mixes on a real SSL, this is the closest thing that I've gotten to from a tactile, fast speed workflow. Now, we could get into, and we have other videos, and we'll have other videos where we actually listen to the channel strip and maybe compare that to other channel strips. You know, does it sound like a real SSL console, like the real thing sitting behind me? No plugin sounds like the real thing. Exactly. Does it have that SSL flavor? Does it sound SSL-esque? Yes. Does it sound great? Yes. Did they work with SSL, the company, to sign off and approve that emulation to say that's our sound? Yes. It sounds great. It really, truly does, like a lot of other SSL channel strip plugins on the market. So I don't want to sit here and say, oh, it sounds as good as the hardware. It's just like that SSL. You don't need that. This will sound just like it. It's not quite that, okay? But no plugin is. But it does sound good. But what this does do, like the SSL, or like working analog in general, is it's fast. This is the fastest I've ever been mixing in the box with any surface control. And that's the truth. So those are the things that I like about it. Those are the things that I think that can be improved on it. And maybe Softube will see this, and maybe there'll be a version 3 or version 4. And maybe they'll add some of those little things that I talked about too. And again, it may raise the cost of the product, and maybe that's why they didn't add those things. But I think some of those things could probably be added at more minimal cost. It may make it a little bit better of a user experience, maybe a little bit better, because they got a really good start here. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope, really, more than if you enjoyed it, I hope it helped you if you're looking to buy a surface control. I hope this gave you some information where you're not just, you know, you're watching a bunch of videos, I'm sure, before you stumbled on this one, and I'm sure you'll go watch some other ones afterwards. Most people that demo these kinds of products are company spokespeople and all that stuff. I hope I was able to convey to you that I'm not that. I'm not a spokesperson for anybody's company. I say the things that I really feel about these products and the things that I like and don't like about them. And if I'm telling you something's really good and you should maybe take a look at it, because I really believe it. And so again, you can click the link in the description box below. You can check that out. If you have any questions, leave comments below the video. I'll try to answer them for you. Again, I'm not an expert on this thing yet, but I know enough about it that I'm sure I can help you. And Softube seems like a really good company based on what I've done so far. Their customer support's been really good. Their engineers, technical people have been really good. And so, you know, it seems like it's a really good product. So I would encourage you to at least take a look at it. If you have one, let me know below. And what do you think about it? What other things do you like or dislike about it? I'd love to know below. Okay, so thanks for sticking around for the whole video. I didn't say this at the beginning of the video, but I want to say this now. If this is your first time here, and this is the first time you're with good old Uncle Dave here, I want to give you something for free. I want you to go to homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Again, all the links will be in the description box below. We're talking about mixing, a mixing system here. I want to give you a free mixing course. It's worth about $100. It's my gift to you. It's right on the homepage. You can't mix it. You can't miss it, just for visiting homerecordingmadeeasy.com. And once you've taken that course, if you like my style of teaching and you want to take one of my full featured courses, and we have everything from mixing to mastering to recording to parallel compression to EQ and compression and blah, 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 and you want to take one of my full training courses, I want to give you a discount, okay? Go to checkout, put the coupon code YouTube25. That will take 25% off any training course on my website. Again, all the links are in the description box below. And until the next video, I've been Dave with homerecordingmadeeasy.com, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.